Hi, this is Pastor Ted, and I am going to tell you a little story about a scam. Now, what essentially happened is I was driving home yesterday, and as typical for me, I called my mom to see how she was. She didn't answer, so I called back, and she didn't answer again. So I figured, well, she's probably on the phone with someone, and she'll call me back. Well, sure enough, a little bit later, she did call me back, but she called me on her mobile phone, which was a red flag for me because she only uses that in case of emergency. And immediately I can tell kind of her mood whenever she answers the phone. She was extremely upset. And I wasn't sure what was going on, and so I just said, what happened? And she says, Ted, you're never going to believe this. She'd gotten onto her computer, had tried to log on to her banking account to check her balance, and she got this alert on the screen that basically told her that her computer had been infected. She was very, very upset with this, as you can imagine, and so she ends up talking to this tech support person who tells her that all this money had been taken out of her account and that we needed to try to fix things on her computer because she couldn't log back into her account. So he tells her to conduct this control Windows R function in a Windows machine that actually will bring up what is a command prompt, which is a technical term in Windows. And then she types in a command that actually scans her computer. And while it's scanning her computer, she's watching the years go by from 2016 up to the present day and showing IP addresses. And this one IP address that it landed on was a porn site from another country that the guy on the phone told her was who had opened up her account. They went on to tell her that by being on the phone, she had actually been scammed there. They got access to her account somehow through being on the phone. So she was so upset that she was believing everything this person did and was taking action on everything they did. And by the time I called, she had just gotten off the phone and she was really, really upset. So we started talking about what we can do about all this. And I looked up this Department of Justice site to report fraud. And a very kind gentleman walked me through some of the things that I could do. And so after I had talked to that person, I called her back and I got her to kind of tell me the story from the beginning. But you know, she was so upset that she couldn't even tell it in sequence. So I had to take my notes and draw arrows and everything to get the story straight. And then finally she hung up and I went online and I went to this first site, to the IC3 site, to file a complaint of fraud and filled out a whole report there. And then I went on to the next site that they told me to go to, which was the, the Federal Trade Commission site. I reported the fraud there. That site recommended I go to the Connecticut Attorney General. I filed the report there, and it was just a nightmare for my mom. It really was. But by the time I got done, I come to realize that she probably never called the number on the back of her credit card and actually talk to her bank. So I was going to call her back, and the first thing I did instead was I called my cousin, who actually worked in a bank, and asked her to call my mom. And then my sister showed up, and she was trying to work things out. And the next thing you know, we find out by the end of the day that she was safe. She had been taken care of by my sister, my cousin, myself, and she was able to calm herself down a little bit. But she went through real trauma as she went through this, and that really concerned me, you know. I love her so much. And so why do I tell you this story? Because I want to say that as people living on this planet, we are constantly being confronted with lies that are designed to take us down. And as Christians, we know that we have an enemy who is the father of all lies. And so when we receive some of these lies, or we received them a long time ago, and still live inside of the lie, we get traumatized. And we take some actions that get us all stirred up and emotional, and we don't even realize that we were lied to until the truth is revealed. And so if that's you, if you're going through something right now where you're sort of traumatized by news that you got, and you haven't reached out to people for help, and more importantly, if you haven't learned how to strengthen yourself in the Lord, I want to encourage you to do that. Because essentially, it's the light that casts out the darkness. And in the darkness, we often stumble. Another word for that is sin. We take things into our own hands instead of bringing them to the Lord and worshiping Him and trusting Him to be our shepherd that loves us and will take care of us. I hope this word encourages you, and I want you to be careful of real life scams and get educated on all this stuff while you're online, but also get educated on the truth, that the truth would set you free from having to go through any of this. The Lord bless you.